Good morning, Cheryl. How are you?
Very good. It's just me.
It's just you. More people will hopefully jump in, but
Okay.
if it's just us, that's just as good for me as well. So, um, we'll just get started. If you have any questions, just feel free to either chime in, or if you want to, just feel free to throw something inside the chat box,
I'll
and
do.
I'll get a notification saying that you have a question, and I'll stop whatever it is that I'm talking about, and I'll start taking a look. So.
Wonderful.
All right, well, let's get started, and then, yeah, next 30 minutes, it'll be all about BYOT.
Excellent.
Awesome. It looks like someone else just joined, so that's great. Um, no, a couple of people. Awesome. All right, so real quick introduction. I'm Nick Rosita. I'm a digital integration specialist in the Office of Educational Technology. And before I was up here on the fifth floor, I was a TRT at Rockridge High School. I helped open that building, and then before that, just to give myself some credibility, I was an English teacher at Loudoun County High School for 9 years. So um, taught pretty much every kind of English over there, but my personal faves were AP Lit and etymology. I thoroughly enjoyed teaching those classes. So um, welcome everyone for 6 BYOT tools that'll make you feel like a rock star. That's our presentation today. I started recording, and as I told Cheryl earlier, if you would like to ask any questions, feel free to do so. Just unmute your mic and ask your question, or if you're not as confident with that, feel free to just type your question inside the chat box, and I'll take a look at it. Okay, so for right now, you should be able to see my iPad right here, which we'll be looking at in a little bit, and then you should also see part of the website for Sketch. Just wanted to let you all know that right below the blurb about me, you can find this PowerPoint presentation that pretty much just gives you a rundown of the 6 tools that we're going to take a look at. And it's also going to give you some information with regards to how you can use them, whether they're web-based or if they're app-based, and what type of sign-in your students would need and what type of sign-in you would need. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. I want to play with my favorite app, which is something that Mike Hendrickson brought to our attention, which is called Send Anywhere. You can get this app online. It's a free download, and it works for your PC. It also works for your Android, and it also works for iOS devices. So on my iPad over here, I'm going to go to my Education tab, and I'm going to click on Send Anywhere. Let me go ahead and open it too on this device. I want to show you how it works. So I've downloaded it right here. I'll bring it to the forefront, and there you go. What's great is you can see my devices that are picked up right here under Send Anywhere. If you're in close proximity, you can jump in and see those devices right there, which makes file transfer very easily. So when we're talking about a BYOT environment, and we're talking about, real quick, one of your students takes a picture of their worksheet, how they completed, answering an equation or another problem that you gave them. Or if there was a skit out in the hall, if I was still an English teacher teaching AP Lit and my students were practicing Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 3, the soliloquy there, and one of my students did a fantastic job, I could ask them to send that recording from their device over to my device and broadcast that up on the Promethean board really quickly. So on my iPad right here, let me show you how this works. I'm going to share with you a picture of my wife recently took of my 2 sons. And you notice that I have the check mark right here, and I'm just going to click on Send or Send right here. And what I'm doing is I'm going to send it to my desktop right here. What's excellent is, of course, before I can receive this file right here on my desktop, notice that it asks me to either get the QR code and scan that into my device, or enter this 6-digit code, making the security quite nice. So let me go ahead and type in that code, and bang. And we're going to have a nice little file transfer. Now this is for single file transfers, and I know that some of you are going to think, well, wouldn't it be nice if I could send this file to all of my students? And of course, I understand what you're talking about. But when we're talking about a BYOT environment, and we're just trying to minimize the lag of instruction, how do we get that picture up and shared with everyone so they can see this model? Instead of, logging into Office 365 and putting that photo or that video file inside OneDrive and sharing that out to all the students, or putting it in your Google Drive and sharing it out, or putting it in Google Classroom or Vision, we can just use the Send Anywhere app. And as you saw, this file was done. We go ahead and broadcast that, and there you go. My 14-month-old watching my 12-year-old play basketball from the front door, wishing he was outside at that time. So this is a really nice single file transfer app that you can use. Of course, you can't tell your students to, of course, download the app, but you can strongly suggest it. It is a free app, like I said, and it does work on CPU, and it does work on iOS. And just in case you were wondering, this is a Generation 2 iPad, so it doesn't even have the latest iOS 10. It's still running 9.3.5, I believe. So it still works with older systems. And it still works with my antiquated Android device right there. Feel free to chuckle that I still have a Kyocera right there. I see there's a question, so let me answer that real quick. Absolutely, I totally agree with that, Elena. I think that that's great. I mean, I always like to start the year off as when I was a TRT at Rockridge, show my phone and show my BYOT folder on my phone and say, these are the apps that we strongly suggest that you use here at Rockridge. And of course, we didn't force them to. We strongly suggest, and it would make things a little bit easier inside the classroom. So let's move on to the next one. Again, that was called Send Anywhere. That was a great find by Mike Hendrickson. This next one is snapdrop.net, and this is a great find from Tara Helkowski here in the Office of Educational Technology. We were busy working together, troubleshooting an issue, and they came up with these tools as possible workarounds for the problem that we had. So I'm here at snapdrop.net. I'm waiting for Chrome to work here on my iPad, and it finally did. Let me go ahead and type in the URL. My apology for the delay. Awesome. So now what happens with this website, as long as you're on the same network, okay, as the device, same network as all the devices near one another, you'll be able to see these things. So I can see Nick's CPU on my iPad, and on my CPU I can see Nick's iPad, making it very easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a file to the iPad, and we'll just send the Snap Anywhere file. And what's great is that you can see, do I want to download or ignore this? I'm going to go ahead and download it. I'm going to open the file, and eventually, come on. Technology never does us wrong, right? Let's try it the opposite way, see if that'll work. So let me go ahead and try it this way. I'll add a file to Nick's CPU. There we go. And I'll go to my photo library. And of course this works just as well, so I'll go to just a wallpaper. Nice spring day. We're not quite having that today with the temperatures, but so look at that. I just sent that to my computer. I click download, and eventually over here in the lower left hand corner I should see that file pop up. Come on, Snapdrop. So again, while we're waiting for that file, again, we're thinking about single file transfers just to make sure that in our BYOT environments we have safe tools. And when I say safe, we're talking about security settings and making sure that there's no violation of privacy. People have to agree to accept and receive these files. You have to get a code. You have to get a QR code, as you saw with the Send Anywhere app. So this is really nice when it comes to those particular things which we want in our BYOT environments when we're thinking about best practices. Looks like we're experiencing some technical issues. Look at that, it finally showed up. So I can click on this and you can see our nice spring day, which will hopefully happen sometime next week for us again. So single file transfer, we have two apps. One is web-based. There's no app for Snapdrop. It's just a website. And then to Send Anywhere, which is an app which you can find for iOS systems, Android, and CPU. Awesome. Very exciting. So the next thing I want to show you has nothing to do with file transfers, but I want to show you something that I think is quite excellent. We're going to jump into Office 365 here on my iPad, and we're going to select Office Lens. I don't know if anyone's dealt with Office Lens before, but in this particular case, when we're working with Office Lens, I want us to think about using iOS systems. Now, I am going to share with you my desk. I'll share with you just a small size of my desk because the rest of it's quite messy. And you can see right now I'm going to write a message. Actually, I'm going to put my iPad down so I can write the message. I'm just writing on an iPad, or sorry, not an iPad, but I'm writing on a Post-it note. So I'm going to take a picture using Office Lens. Okay, and in the upper right hand corner I'm going to click where it says Done. And what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to select Immersive Reader. Okay, and what this is going to do, and I'm hoping that the volume works, but in the case that it doesn't, I just want to prepare you. If I click on Immersive Reader, what's going to happen is this program is going to translate the text that showed up on the Post-it note and is going to read it out loud. So I'm going to click on Immersive Reader. It's going to scan my text. Hopefully my handwriting is not so atrocious. Oh, it couldn't read my text. I'm not surprised. Let me go back. And I'll actually take a different picture. It'll probably pick up this text. Alright, perfect. So now let's go ahead and click on Done. Scan the text. And there you go. Now you can see it's not perfect. It read the different, which was again kind of the breakout EDU logo, so it didn't read it appropriately. But if I go ahead and click on play down here, and you so we have a really nice kind of a pseudo read and write app, right? So with our excellent Office Lens program used in conjunction with Immersive Reader on the iPad, we have just a quick snapshot of the text. Say you have a poster, say you have another document that you don't have a soft copy of, and you can take a picture of that and have it read aloud to some of your students. I think that's an awesome tool. And again, Mike Hendrickson showed me that one, and I think it's superb when we're talking about BYOT, but specifically with iOS systems. If you're trying to use Office Lens on an Android device or on a CPU that has a camera attached to it, You're going to want to use that in conjunction with OneNote and Word because they do have some read aloud features with regards to photo capturing capabilities similar to Office Lens. So that's why I'm only bringing in the iOS systems at this point. All right, the next thing I'm going to show you, I'm really excited about because it deals with vision. Now, when we go to, let me move my iPad out of the way. Sorry about that. When we go to vision.lcps.org, now you probably noticed before that, hey, you've got Moodle right there. Well, what in the world is Moodle? We call our learning management system Vision, and it is powered by what we call Moodle. Okay, we have two major LMS systems that are pretty popular up here in Northern Virginia. One, of course, is Blackboard, and the other one is Moodle. We call our instance of Moodle Vision. Okay, so right here on my iPad, I have the mobile Moodle app. And so this is one of those apps that we strongly encourage our Rockridge students to download. Not going to allow for right now. But what you want to do, and I just wanted to show you this from the very beginning so that you can see how this works, you would just type in vision.lcps.org. And I'm just going to hide my password from you if you don't mind, because we are recording this session. I'll hide it a little bit more. I know some of you in the audience. So what's excellent is, of course, all my courses show up. Now you're sitting there going, hooray, I have Vision as an app. How is that cool? Well, it's very cool, especially if you're trying to give a quiz on a day and that you can't get the laptops. You can't get into the computer lab. So if you scroll down, let's see, let's go to, I created a sandbox the other night. I saw there was a question, so I'll get to that actually real quick. Alright, let's move this over here. Does everyone see my desktop now? I didn't realize that I wasn't sharing my desktop. I thought I was. So if you can't see it, please do let me know. Alright, so over here, what's really great is that, of course, if you have a test or a quiz, and like I said, you couldn't get the laptops or couldn't get into the computer lab that day, what's great is, of course, the students can jump into your class. They can see notes that you have posted up there. They can take any tests that you have. And so your course all of a sudden becomes, wow, quite nice. Look at all that. I can post things up at the last minute. There's my test. Not that we ever do that as teachers, but there's the test. Of course, there's no questions in that particular one, but if there were questions in this quiz, they could actually see the quiz right there. So, I particularly like the mobile Moodle app. I'm a little biased, of course, but this is really, really nice. If you have one of those warm-up activities inside your classroom, having the Moodle app is really key. Say you want them to create, a short question or answer a short question. You can also do that real quick and have them submit it through Moodle, which is excellent. All right, so let me go ahead and minimize that. And we're going to go to another one of my faves. OneNote. Now, I'm going to hide this for just a second. Now, I know some of you have seen OneNote before and you're going, I've seen OneNote. What's the big deal about OneNote? Well, here's what I enjoy about OneNote. If I was still a real teacher in the classroom, I would be making sure that if I was using all the best tools inside my BYOT arsenal, it'd be a combination of Moodle Mobile, be a combination of file transfer apps like I showed you earlier. It'd be, of course, if my school was a Google school, I would be using Google Classroom, I'd be using all those fun things, but I would also be using OneNote. And here's why. Elementary school teachers don't always agree with me on this because they love their flip charts. They love Promethean boards because of the flip charts. They love ActiveInspire. For some of them, Promethean Planet is their landing page whenever they open their browser. I understand. My wife says that all the time. She goes, you won't take away my flip charts. As an English teacher, I was one of those mean English teachers that made my students diagram sentences every day. So I would use, again, if I was a real teacher, use the draw feature, use the pen, and then I would use this. You're like, definitely an English teacher because you're telling us short fictional stories right there. Just kidding. But I would sit there and say, all right, let's diagram this sentence, of course, and there you go. And what's excellent is if I share this notebook with all of my students, they all have access to OneNote through their Office 365. And what's superb is when this syncs up, they have the notes. Say I want to insert a video of something that's going on within class. Insert audio. So you guys will see me in just a second. Good morning. I'm showing this video real quick and I'm done. I'm just going to exit out. It automatically records this video. It's right there. And then I can play it back. And what's really excellent too, with regards to this feature in OneNote, is I can save this video file outside of OneNote and use it for something else. So these are just two real quick things that you can use with OneNote that will really help your BYOT arsenal. You record this video, your students sync up their OneNote with the OneNote that you shared with them. They all of a sudden have access to that video. You put notes in here. You add a page. You put it in there. I make my little marks, sync up, and it's right there. See, there's a question real quick. Oh, are you kidding? Let me try sharing the screen again, Paul. And what I'll be sure to do, folks, because we did say that we were going to make sure that we make these videos available. So what I'm going to make sure... Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Yep, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. If you leave and then come back, maybe that'll help some of the screen issues. But like I was just about to say, we are recording these sessions and we will be posting these videos. So if you want to come back and see how we're using these tools again, feel free to do that. And then of course, if you need to contact me for any reason, I have the funny last name. Let me get to draw here real quick. Man, my handwriting has gotten worse. Funny last name, and then my first name is Nick. So feel free to reach out to me and I can definitely walk through any of these tools with you again. Okay? Alright, so that's OneNote. The last one is a tool that I bet you all have used before. And I'm going to bring my iPad back up here. And someone else is doing this session today. But I love this, Nearpod. This is a phenomenal presentation tool, and it is free. There are some limitations to it being free, and I'm going to discuss that in just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And here's what's also superb about this presentation tool is that I can log in with Google or Office 365. And then of course you can see over here on my iPad, while this is logging in, there's the Nearpod app. Now here's what's different about the Nearpod app. The Nearpod app on the iOS system and on Android and all that stuff, pretty much you are logging in to just get the portal. Okay? So I wanted to show you how it looks for students. Oh boy. The whole logging in thing again. See, there's a question. Let me get to that real quick. Oh, looks like someone was just trying to join. That's alright. Alright, let me go ahead and sign in here real quick. Sorry for the delay. And let me sign in over here. Too many sign-ins. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Awesome. Alright, so over here. Oops, see, there's a question real quick. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Alright, so I'm going to go to my library. There is some further examination we can do with Nearpod, but in a nutshell, here's what Nearpod does for you. It's a presentation tool where you don't have to reinvent the wheel to make some of your presentations a little bit more exciting. We have PowerPoints, we have Google Slides, and what Nearpod allows us to do is upload those Google Slides or PowerPoints. So I'm going to go to my library, and I'll show one that we did for the Global Citizen Conference last year at Rockridge. We did a small presentation on migration and refugees. So I'm going to hover over this, and I can do two things. I can make it student-paced and assign it for homework, or I can make this a live lesson. And so what I'm going to do on my iPad is I'm going to enter in that code by clicking join. I type in the code LWSJC join. And so what I want you guys to get a sense of, okay, and the students have to put in their names. I'm going to go ahead and click send and check it out. So this is the presentation that you all will see. Okay, you can add pictures to all of it, and this is what your students are going to see. Okay, now I move the button over here, the arrow for the slide, and notice what it does for your students. It gives the illusion, I know some of you are getting excited about this, it gives the illusion that you've taken over your student's device. Have you? Not really, but it is pretty cool because it takes up the entire screen. Okay, and what this presentation tool allows you to do, in addition to uploading a PowerPoint that you've already made or a Google slide that you've already made, you can add polling questions, you can add small quiz questions, you can add short essay questions. So check it out. I'm just going to go right over here on my iPad. I'm just going to type in not an appropriate answer for this question, obviously, because it doesn't connect. I do want to send it, and then you as the teacher will get the immediate answer right here. You can then share this out with the rest of the participants within your session, and they can see my answer as well. Okay, we can keep going through. You can post notes, as you can see right here, and again, it just keeps following through. If you have a hot link website, it should pull it up on that particular student's device. This one's a little bit bigger. I'm not actually, this website was giving us quite a few issues because, oh, look at that, it's actually showing up. It's a rather large website, and it actually gives you a live view of the migration through different European countries. So it's a really cool website to use. The students really enjoyed it last year, especially on the active tables. I don't think it's going to pull up because it's rather large, but if I move on to the next slide, the device will move on to the next slide. As a teacher, I also like this fact right here. In the bottom part of my screen, I can click on this, and I can see exactly who's in my class. And what happens is, you can see that this is green. If it turns red, it means that I lost a student, and so then I can sit there and ask that student where they went. So I really like Nearpod, but if you allow me to kind of geek out for a second, what I really enjoy about Nearpod are the reports. So if I go back over here, I can have nice colorful reports sent to my email, and they will be archived right here for me as well. So that's what I also thoroughly enjoy about Nearpod. So I see there's a question, and then I'm going to wrap it up because our time is over. Yes, Nearpod is similar to Pear Deck. I think that Nearpod has quite a few other functions than Pear Deck, to be honest with you. I do like the reports. I get immediate feedback. The graphs are quite excellent, and there is embedding of videos within Nearpod, which I also enjoy as well. Kind of out of the box thinking with Nearpod too. Presenting to parents at a back to school night, polling them. If you're able to do that, it's really quite excellent. The Nearpod app, as I said, on Android devices and iOS, it's pretty much just a portal into the Nearpod presentation. It's not necessarily developing that Nearpod presentation, which is really nice too. Alright, well that sums up what we had in store today. We had 6 BYOT tools that we took a look at, and if you need any, you're quite welcome. But if you have any questions or if you want to follow up with me on any of these tools, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to work with you. I'm happy to work with any other colleagues at your school, or if you're working in conjunction with people outside your building, same subject area, I'm happy to work with you all in small groups. So please enjoy the rest of your teacher workday. You all deserve it. You also deserve to have a great, long, and restful spring break. So please enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy your spring break. At this point, we're all done. Peace out to you as well. We're all done, so if you want to stick around and ask some questions, feel free. I'll keep the recording going for the next 5 minutes. But if you're going to another session, enjoy that session as well. And thank you for being a part of Digital Learning Day. We appreciate it. Thank you, Cheryl. Leslie, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Please take a look at this video again once we have it posted. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to Skype, email me. I'm happy to discuss with you. Awesome. Oh, I also like OneNote as well. I mean, as an English teacher, I think it's a brilliant tool, and I would have used it inside my English class to torture more students with diagramming sentences, of course. Leslie, please have a great rest of your teacher workday and enjoy your spring break, okay?